Hi guys, in this video I will be showing you 3 strategies that I use to answer questions on exams that I think will help you to maximize your exam scores. So the methods that I'm about to show you are not a replacement for studying well. It's imperative that you study really well before this exam, before trying out these strategies, or else these strategies won't be useful at all. It's also important to note that these strategies are meant to be used primarily with multiple choice questions in exams pertaining to the science field, for example, in biology. The purpose of these methods are to compound your results that you get when you're studying. Okay, so the first strategy is to dumb down the questions. Important things to do when you are trying to dumb down the questions are to first pull out the nouns and the verbs. So when you're pulling these words out, these allow you to know exactly what the main topic is for a particular question. And if you are doing an exam on multiple chapters, it will give you an idea as to which topic and which chapter the question is referring to. It's also important that you replace any words that may be a little confusing trying to answer the question. So if there is a word that you may have never seen before in the question, but you have an idea of what it may mean in reference to prefixes, suffixes, if they're related to any of the particular topics that you've been studying, then replace that word with some word that you already know and that you've already studied. Here's the example problem. Bill is a biologist studying how adenosine triphosphate affects the human body. He has already determined that it is a source of energy, but cannot remember where in cellular respiration it is produced. What stage in cellular respiration and which complex produces the most adenosine triphosphate? So we see here that this is a very wordy question, and in order to dumb down the question, we need to take out the unnecessary phrases. We are going to disregard the answer choices for right now. The main question here is what stage in cellular respiration and which complex produces the most adenosine triphosphate. And since that's the main question, we can disregard the storyline here, which is just here to confuse and muddle the main question, which we've established. And a lot of the times, I've noticed that the main question is usually at the end. And you can skip the beginning portion. Okay, after this, we need to go ahead and determine what the topic of the main question is. Right now, we can tell that cell respiration is the main topic that we're talking about. We're talking about the production of adenosine triphosphate. Next, we need to replace the confusing words with easier ones. And we can do this by replacing first complex with protein and replacing adenosine triphosphate with ATP. You could probably even change this cellular to cell. So you've already dumbed down the question to words that you can understand. But now it's time for you to answer the question. So how do we go about doing that? In a lot of exams, the answer choices in multiple choice questions are extremely similar, so that it can be super confusing if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't go through and think about this information first, or if you're just speeding through the exam. This can also be an issue if the answer choices are commonly confused with each other, if they have similar meanings or similar words for the concept that's being described. So in order to combat this, before even reading the answer choices, recall what you know about the topic. So once you know and recall the information on the question's topic. Then you can write down what you think the answer is. Instead of treating the question like a multiple choice question, think of it like a fill in the blank or a short answer. What would you write down? And pretend that those given choices aren't there. At this point, you are able to look at the answer choices and choose the answer that you found as you were thinking the question out. If the exact answer isn't there, choose the answer that seems the closest to the answer that you thought of. Now we need to determine what the answer is to this question. We're still not looking at the answer choices at the moment. We have two parts to this question, which is what stage in cell respiration ATP is produced, and then which complex or protein produces it. And we're looking for the most. For the first part of this question, what stage? The stage that produces the most ATP is oxidative phosphorylation. So we're gonna write that down here. And then which protein produces the most ATP is going to be ATP synthase. Now that we've found the answers ourselves, we can take a look at the answers and see which answer is correct and matches our response. See, we have oxidative phosphorylation and ATP synthase, which matches up with the answer that we came up with. So we can confirm that C is the correct answer. If you don't exactly know what the answer is to the particular question, then strategy 2 won't really be useful. So instead, you can use strategy 3, which is using the process of elimination. So this method can help you declutter the answer choices. It can help make answering the question less overwhelming. In this method, you go one by one through each choice, and you read through very, very carefully, and if it is absolutely incorrect and it doesn't make any sense, then cross it off with an X. You're crossing out the answers that you know are absolutely wrong. This is what narrows down the correct answers so that you have less options to choose from. This is mostly used with paper exams when you cross things off with your pen or pencil. However, since exams are online, you can use your whiteboard or scrap paper to write down just the letters corresponding to the answers of each answer choice in the question, that you can just cross off the letter that corresponds with that answer choice that you know is not correct. Let's say that we know which proteins line up with which process. We are able to go ahead and cross off any of the answers that don't line up with each other. We can say that glycolysis and complex 1 are not in the same stage, so we can cross out A. We can also say that the citric acid cycle and ATP synthase do not work together. We see that oxidative phosphorylation and ATP synthase, that protein complex, that is in oxidative phosphorylation, so we can leave that there. We can cross D off. Now, the answer that we have left is C, which is oxidative phosphorylation and ATP synthase. So here is a summary of all of the points that I just talked about. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you have any other tips for the study community, please let us know down in the comments below. I am very interested to hear your thoughts. And please share with your friends if you think that this will help them. Jesus loves you. Thanks for watching. Bye.